Well, good morning, everybody. Good morning. It is Friday, and I could not be more delighted. It has been a crazy week, and we are definitely gearing up for the holidays. I'm actually in my bakery right now, but I wanted to come on with another episode of Rapid Fire Friday. So welcome. I always look forward to these opportunities to share with you 5 wonderments, questions, comments, suggestions, or scenarios that I find interesting, and I hope you also do find interesting. If you are new to the community, I want to welcome you. We are almost 3.6K strong, so thank you so much. And of course, thank you to all of my founding members and family that support this community. So if I have never watched Rapid Fire Friday, very quickly, my name is Annette Conrad. I'm the owner and lead creative for Edible Impressions, and I created this group many months ago to offer a place for me to share and others to share their love and passion for cookie decorating, but more importantly, for me to be able to share my journey from taking a hobby to a profitable business with a nationwide reach. So welcome, welcome. I'm gonna get right to it because I've got 5 really interesting topics and scenarios that I want to share with you. Now, I don't answer questions live, but if you do want to go deeper on any one of these topics, feel free to put that right in the feed, and then post-event I will hop on and answer those questions. So again, thank you for being here, and we're gonna get going. And you know what? I forgot, I don't have with me my bell. I don't have my bell. I usually ring the bell after each question. Sylvia's here. She offered to go get my bell, but I think we'll be okay. I'll just say ding, ding, and go on to the next question. All right, folks, let's get started. So the first one is, are you a member of multiple Facebook groups? I know I am. But what happened is, over the months, I have joined and I've joined and I've joined all these groups, and I've decided that I'm in way too many groups. So you know me, the people that have been watching for a while, that I always say it's quality, not quantity, quality, not quantity. So what I did is I actually pulled myself out of a number of groups. And the reason was because, number one, I couldn't keep up. My feed wasn't as organized. And I found out that there were groups that I'm in that really don't pertain to what my priorities are. So I decided to scale back a little bit on the Facebook groups and really take advantage of the ones that I'm in. And the reason I bring this up is because you may be new to the group and you might be shy to ask questions. Well, please don't be shy to ask questions, because sometimes there are folks that are beginners, or if you're intermediate or advanced, and you might feel like, oh my gosh, I don't want to ask this question because everybody's asking the question, or I'm sure someone's asked it and I don't want to ask it again. But what I want to talk about here, when it comes to Facebook groups that you're in, you may not be taking full advantage of them. And I want to bring to your attention, for this group and any other group that you're in, that search tool is super, super helpful. So if you're shy, you don't want to pose a question, you think it's already been asked, then go in the upper right-hand corner of the main page of the Facebook group, and I'll put a screenshot in after this post. And then you can type in literally the word of the topic that you're looking for. And here's a little pro tip. So let's say you're looking for something about flooding. Don't just put in flooding. If you want to really drill down into getting information on how to flood or ways to flood, the best thing you can do, and I've tested this on more than once, is type in help flooding. Okay, just help flooding. So whatever it is, put in help and then that topic or that word, and you will be amazed on how Facebook is going to drill down. It's basically a search tool by keywords. It's going to drill down, and then it's going to give you all of those conversations that are all about flooding. And there's going to be Q&A, because if someone put in help in their request, you're going to see those answers and those great suggestions that come from not only me as an admin, but all the community members that have experience in that area. Okay, so that is just something I really wanted to share with you today. So ding, ding. Moving on to the next one. Now, I don't know if you hear that barking in the background. Do you hear that barking in the background? I'm a little distracted because I have my grandpup here, and my guess is someone's either walking on the street or the UPS man is here. It's one of the two. So we're just gonna let her bark. Okay, number 2. So here is, if you do host experiences, whether they be in person or virtually, the question was, I've seen some folks post about playing music in the background during a decorating class. based on the mix of ages, what kind of music do you play? So I thought this was a really interesting question or scenario because we had not talked about this before. And so there were lots of great suggestions. People were recommending jazz, you know, soft elevator music, if you will. Maybe Sylvia can go down and check on the pup. Because it sounds like she's opened the door like a dinosaur at Jurassic Park because her barking is getting louder. So anyway, sorry about that distraction. But anyway, so here's what I do when it comes to music with your decorating classes. I tend to play music, if I do, pre and post the start of a class, because I find even with my smaller intimate classes, it can be a little distracting because I try to really encourage engagement and conversation. And so sometimes the music, even playing really softly, can be a distraction. So I'm pretty selective. However, when I do large freeform decorating classes, especially when they're themed, I do tend to play music because it is a lot of fun and it adds a lot to the ambiance of the event. So ding, ding, that's number 2. So we're moving on to number 3 for this morning. So I want to welcome those new members. So occasionally when I welcome a large group of new members, I will ask a couple of questions just to get to know you a little bit better. So most recently I asked for one word that describes why you want to start a business, what scares you about starting a business, and what excites you about starting a business. And so there were so many wonderful responses, and I tried to respond to each and every one of them. And many of the community members also respond, so thank you so much. I do appreciate the welcoming that comes from other members in the group. So one fellow community member said the person wants to start a business because they need a creative outlet. And the hope or the scary part is handling multiple orders. And then the third thing she mentioned was learning new things and making people happy. So I want to focus on, yes, making people happy. So that is also what excites me about running a business is I love, and I've talked about it many times before in my master classes, what I really truly love is the initial conversation with my clients to deciding what the design is and the packaging to then the delivery. So whether it is being shipped out and they send me an email once they receive it, or when I follow up with them, or when they answer the door, or I answer the door and I have their presentation and they go, oh my gosh, that is beautiful. That to me is what excites me. And yes, I want to make people happy, but here's the thing. You can make people happy, but it's going to start with you being happy, okay? I'm just going to pause here for a moment. The only way you can make other people happy is if you're happy. And I know my sister's over here going, well, yeah, she's always so damn positive. Not always, because you know what? Sylvia can attest to me. I know, Sylvia's retiring. Shh, we're going to have a little retirement party for her too. But anyway, so my point is, you know, don't, and I've said this before, don't take too much on. Find it is what it is that makes you happy. So if it's a decorating technique, if it's a decorating style, if it's a packaging, it's a presentation, if it's doing in-person classes or doing virtual classes, find that one thing or those two things that really, really make you happy. And I trust me that when you're happy, your clients are going to be happy because that is just going to translate right to your cookie orders. And honestly, one of the things I really wish I would have done early on is niche down. I think I was not necessarily unhappy, but I was running myself a little ragged, and my team was a little ragged because we were taking on everything and anything. So again, make people happy, but it starts with you being happy. So, you know, are you loving what you're doing? You've got to love what you do. Otherwise, it's not going to be fun. So, ding, ding. Okay. So a really good question. This might be a little bit more involved, but I'm just going to touch on it because I see this as a future masterclass. Someone asked, how does everyone keep track or keep record of their incoming and outgoing orders? So this is a loaded question. I literally could talk to a half-day retreat just on this. Not that it's complicated, but it's super, super important and super critical to have a workflow process to be able to manage your incoming requests, estimates, order confirmations, how and when you fulfill the orders, to all the follow through. So even though this person said keeping track of orders is for the entire phase of your transaction that you have with someone. So I knew that once my hobby started to become a business, and how did I know that? Well, is when money started exchanging hands with people. That's really when you know you have a business. I decided that because of the increase in requests and how they were coming in, I said, this is crazy. I need a workflow, because people were phoning me, they were emailing me, they were texting me, they were sending me Facebook messengers. And here's the thing, they still do that. And I do take inquiries that way, but no one can place an order with my company without going to my website and filling out an order form. No one. Okay. And I learned that the hard way. Because it's very easy when you get busy, especially if you're a solo entrepreneur, or even if you have a small team, it's going to get really tricky keeping track of all of that. So I have a very, very specific, and right now I'm the only one that knows that workflow, but I know Sylvia in her retirement wants to learn more about the workflow. So I'm delighted to know that I'm going to have someone who is a backup, because as much as I talk about having depth in your business, that's an area that I'm lacking, because I shouldn't be the only one that knows that. And so I'm kind of getting off on a tangent, but very, very, very important to have a workflow process, and not like someone couldn't figure it out, because I do use technology and it is all written down. So technically, God forbid something would happen to me, they could figure it out. Right, Sylvia? Yep, she said yep. So I'm counting on her for that. Okay, but a really quick bird's eye view, and then I'll move on, is I do have an online order form. I have an estimate, an official estimate that's sent, which then transfers into an official order confirmation. Then it goes to an invoicing. I know it sounds like a lot. Then it goes into the fulfillment stage, and then it goes into the post fulfillment, where it gives me an opportunity to follow up with them on the delivery side. So I do have a wall, and I can't show you right now, but during the behind the scenes during this holiday season, I'll give you a sneak preview. But I actually have a operational wall in my bakery with all the orders in order by due date. So that is not the master file, but that is a copy of the master file that is up on that board for my team to execute and for myself to execute. It's the exact document that my clients get. So there is not going to be any confusion on what the expectations, what the specifications are going to be for that order, because it is an exact copy of what is in that master folder downstairs. Okay, ding, ding. That was a long one. Okay, one more. So I hope you tuned into the last part 3 of a 3-part series that I did about resources and technology. This past Wednesday was all about the fulfillment stage of using resources and technology. So over that 3-part series, I gave you a really quick sneak preview on what Edible Impressions uses or has used in terms of technology and resources. And so this last week, I talked about communication, your website, financial, how you use with your subcontractors, a little bit on the operational side, and then I also gave a sneak preview into the virtual experience setup and listed off some of the equipment, and also gave you a little peek at what that is. So in that, where I'm going with this last Rapid Fire Friday, is there was a question that came up as I was talking about some of these items, and I mentioned, 10 dozen to 100 dozen. And I think that really was like, what? I'm just trying to get through 4 to 5 dozen. Please know that I've been on my journey for a while. It's not going to happen overnight, but it is something that can happen if you want it to happen, okay? And so when this person posed that question, oh my gosh, how are you even doing that? I can't even imagine it. My response was, first of all, do you even want to do that, okay? I'm going to tell you right now, and my sister, I keep reporting her because she's over here working feverishly without me while I'm just sitting here talking to you guys. But don't worry, I'm hopping in right after this. But my point is, it takes a special person and a special group of individuals to do what we do. I'm not saying that you're not that person. I'm not saying that you can't find a team to do it, but it is an elite group, and I'm proud to say that. And I think we are an elite group because the stamina, the commitment, the dedication is there. We challenge ourselves. We don't give up. We have fun. We have fun. When we're like looking at the order board going, how are we going to do this? But we're just like jazzed up because we know we're going to do it. It's going to be so fun. We're already going to be talking about where we're going to celebrate. I'm thinking bonus checks for my team because the orders have picked up so tremendously this year that I'm so excited. So my point is, be patient. It will happen. Have a plan. Develop your systems. But then along the way, if you decide that's not what you want to do, know that all of those things that you've learned during that journey, you can take the fork in the road at any point. You can start teaching. You can start donating. You can, oh my gosh, there's so many things that you can do. It doesn't mean you have to take that 4 to 5 dozen that you're doing now to 40 or 50 dozen. I've met so many people that are just like, I've got to scale. And there's one podcaster that I listen to in particular, and I'm actually a little turned off because all she talks about is scale. You got to get bigger. No, you do not need to get bigger. At this point for us, we are kind of plateauing a little bit. I don't want to get any bigger than this. I'm very grateful and I'm very happy where we're at. We are at the cusp of, if we do try to do any more, we're probably gonna have to get a different space. I'm not interested in that. So again, for whatever it's worth, I know I'm kind of rambling, but I just want you to know that, be inspired by people, but don't feel like you have to follow their exact journey, and just go with your gut. Your gut is going to tell you 9 times out of 10 what is right for you at that moment, okay? So, ding ding, that concludes the 5 rapid fire formats for the week. I know I need to download these to YouTube. I did get a little bug in my ear that Facebook is changing things about classes. So don't worry, all my replayed master classes are going to be downloaded. I will eventually get them to YouTube so they're not lost. I'm in the process of doing that already. So thank you for a community member, Nancy, who brought that to my attention. I just did get the message this morning about classes are being taken away. And I don't know really what the difference is between classes and events on Facebook. So we might be fine, but just as a precaution, I will look into that just so we don't lose this wonderful content that is being brought to you on a complimentary basis. So, all right, thank you so much, everyone. I always encourage you to go to AnnetteConrad.com if you'd like to take a little peek, learn a little bit more about my journey, and see some of my free PDF guides. I also do offer one-on-one consulting and have a couple of resources that will ease your pain, particularly when it comes to pricing, order confirmations, royal icing, mixing, and consistencies. So I will see you next Wednesday. Is going to be, and I don't even think Sylvia knows this, we're going to do Wonderment Wednesday. Wonderment Wednesday. So if you have questions for Wonderment Wednesday, you can post them now. Otherwise, I'm going to follow something a little similar to this, but I'm going to take your live questions. So it's Q&A live. What are you wondering about on a Wednesday? So we will see you 6:30 Central Time on Wednesday, October 12th. Have fun, everybody. We will see you next week. Take care.